excited and hopeful that there will be change in the country after the last decade after the military rule, and that hope not only is not about economics, but also political and social, and in short, it's like people trying to find new consensus in this new normal after COVID, after Russia-Ukraine war, which affected Thailand a lot in terms of fertilizer prices, animal feed, all these energy prices. It's one of the most prioritized issues nowadays in Thailand in terms of cost of living, and that it's not just a quick fix. It's about going against big money in this country, because that's part of the structural inertia. So you gotta fight the system and challenge the status quo.
This might be an obvious question, but if you get elected as PM, what would you bring to the table?
3 Ds. First is to demilitarize. Second is to demonopolize. And third is to decentralize. I mean, for the past many decades, it's always been about military rule, even for the past 10 years, and we have the cycle of military coup every 5 years. One of the highest in the world. After we became a democracy from absolute monarchy. Demonopolize. Fun fact: liquor industry here in Thailand, one of the most visited tourists in the country. Alcohol industry in Thailand and Japan is the same size, but we have 7 producers and Japan has 40,000 producers. Obviously something's wrong there, so we got to make sure that there's equal rights to work to our farmers. And decentralized is Bangkok is Thailand. Thailand is Bangkok in whichever matrix you see, whether it's GDP, whether it's national budget, whether it's about transportation per capita. All those will be pretty visible for those who ever visited Thailand. So again, 3 Ds to democratize Thailand to be fully democratic, demilitarize, demonopolize, and decentralize. That's what we'll bring.
One of the main issues in this election, and that affects everyone in the country, is household debt. And every party has, the populist policy that promises to lessen their burden somehow. What is your view towards this? What's your view towards populist policy? Is it needed?
Well, populist, in my definition, is that you are trying to get popular votes by short-term giveaways without considering about the structure of one thing or the source of funds. So for us, it's not about populist policies. For us, it's about social welfare. We're one of the most progressive parties here in Thailand, social democrats, part of Sokdem community all around the world, and that's about taking care of the burden of a middle-class person like myself, where we are ham in the sandwich. We have the bread of our parents on top, we have the bread of our children at the bottom, and it's squeezing us. We can't be entrepreneurial, we can't take risks, we can't follow our dreams because we have to care of our parents and our children. So what the government needs to do is, instead of investing in roads that's never going to be used, invest in submarines. That's pretty much yesterday in terms of national security. We want to use that money to invest in our people, to make sure that there's enough above poverty line for our retired citizens to be able to have a decent living standard, and also our children that facing a lot of fallouts during COVID, to be able to, while the education is not truly free and there's some hidden expense, hopefully this early childhood budget will help ease the pain, so that the middle class, right, like me, which is not so much anymore, given that we're entering aging society, have that entrepreneurial spirit and have no worries to focus on really boosting the economy. So I think that's a true difference, and that's structural, and also we have the sources of money how to get there.
Last questions. We've been following some of your...
Tax the rich and lower the taxes for the SMEs. Sorry.
We've been following your candidates, the UV candidates, and we've been quite impressed because it's low budget. You guys, put up your signs, banners yourself. You must feel a sense of proud, like for your party.
Well, sense of pride and sense of sweat, but there's a good reason for it, because we want to start politics at the at the right and correct beginning. If we started off campaigning with lots of money, and that involves campaign finance, and that means you got to find a large amount of money within a short amount of time. So that's very much that you owe someone, and you lose your autonomy in the way you do politics. I studied politics in America, and, a product of American education, both inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. I was there during President Obama against McCain, as well as Bush against Al Gore in 2001. So Bernie Sanders was an inspiration. $15 donation on average. That's very much the same as what we get here in Thailand as well. A lot of people donated for our campaign financing through their tax returns. 164 is our digits, and the average donation is about $15, and that's how we bring about change in the sense that we owe no one nothing, except for the people who donated, and that's already an obligation for us to speak on their behalf and pass progressive laws. But we're not going to be obliged to answer to corporate lobbyists or big companies or the military and things like that, so that we can be who we are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
ข้อหนึ่งคำถามตั้งแต่เช้าที่เราลงพื้นที่ค่ะ